What is up, everybody? We're going to ignore the mess that is me. We're going to ignore the mess that is the shop and the 8.6, and we're just going to concentrate on an update video. So you're going to have to bear with me, guys. The last several weeks, I have absolutely been killing it on this car. I mean, it's been 108, 106 on a regular basis. I almost saw 109, or actually, it could have been, and I just walked past it and only saw the 108.7 that it was in the shop. It's been brutal. Luckily right now it's in the 80s. I threw the AC on, which will help for a bit until it starts cooking in here, and then I'll be dying. But at this point, it is what it is. I've got to get this car done and ready for TougeCon. Wearing my 2024 TougeCon shirt, got the banner up in the shop. I am so ready for this event, but let's go ahead and go over an update on the 8.6 and show you where I am at this very moment and whether or not I'm gonna even make it in this car to the event. So, I told you guys recently that the 20 valve is in the car, and I am currently working on the tweaked harness setup, and this is supposed to be a plug and play setup. So I've got my fuel lines done, vacuum lines all hooked up. I think everybody's there. New throttle cable that extends and actually reaches to everything. This is the Piper Cross foam element that goes over the ITB setup. And then I went ahead and after ordering the tweaked harness, I went, you know what? I really need to go coil on plug and be smart. So I decided to get with Panic and ordered Panic's coil pack conversion. And since I run 1ZZ coils on the S13, I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and do it on this too. So that I have two cars running the exact same coil packs. It just makes my life easier with maintenance. So I am now running a Link ECU Monsoon with the coil pack conversion from Panic that is adapted with a plug and play harness to the tweak setup on the 20 valve. So everything should be bulletproof and ready to go and super reliable and modernized for this motor. Was able to get all the timing components done, so we're all updated. Currently, I am trying to figure out where a couple of these connectors go that I'm just not familiar with the 20 valves compared to the 16s. And I'm waiting for Tweak to give me an update, but you know, fuel pressure regulator is done. And then my little bit of a conundrum here has been figured out. I need to finish trimming these up to clean them up. But I have figured out a way to route around the alternator. I'm gonna do a turnbuckle here and extend out my alternator down a little bit. I've seen people do it on the 16 valve, so I'm gonna do it here. And this will allow me to run 20 valve accessories on this motor. People throw away 20 valve accessories all the time, so I'm like, hey, I'll run them. So AC will not be hooked up on the TougeCon Adventure. I just don't have the time to make it happen. But I have all of my AC components there in a pile, and as soon as I get back this fall, the goal is to put a new heater core in it, new blower motor, get the heat hooked up and the AC plumbed. That way I can have the creature comforts in this car and not be sweating it out. So I'll sweat it out for TougeCon and then I'll be over it. Up front, suspension wise, the new brake setup is completely finished. These are the calipers I stole off my FD, which I have sitting outside. Since I was gonna be doing a big brake kit on the 8.6, well, sorry, gimbal, I've never quite figured this thing out, so you're just got to tolerate me. Anyways, since I'm gonna be doing a big brake kit on the FD, since it's going full tilt race car, that means that the factory brakes were not gonna be used. Well, guess what? T3 makes an adapter that allows me to run FD brakes on the 8.6 using Mini Cooper S rotors. So I was able to re-drill the bolt pattern on the back of these to fit the back of the hub, rebuilt the bearings, seals, and everything. So now I have Mini Cooper S large rotors, RX-7 front brakes to give myself a really good modern braking system on the 8.6. So super happy about that. Plenty of T3 components to go around. Took the wheels yesterday, decided I'm gonna chrome the Buddy Club, so I took them to the powder coaters. They are down at Superior getting the works. So really happy with those guys. They've always taken really good care of me. Next up is the inside. I've gotten the carpet installed. This is the new carpet. I'm not finished with it. I've still got some trimming work. As you can see, they leave it long, so I need to trim in, get everything done there. New pedal covers are on. Look at that. All fresh and clean. New throttle cables in. Then of course, you know, I've got this gorgeous Grip Royal steering wheel from the boys. They took care of me there. I'm actually gonna send it back and have them etch it with some cherry blossoms and the MTR logo down here at the bottom. But it is a really crispy and clean addition to the inside of the car. Then on the other side, like I said, ignore the shop. It's a mess. So am I, but we'll get over it. So on this side, I now have my Monsoon X tucked right up in this little hole, out of the way, but super easy access with the USB cable into the glove box, so it's easy access for when Forrest goes to tune the car, or if I ever need to get access to anything. Still need to work on the door panels. I'm gonna be recovering these. This car is gonna go in a couple phases, so basically running, driving, painted for TougeCon. Then after that, I'm gonna come back and get the AC and heat working, and then the plan is probably this spring, I'm gonna gut this car down, and maybe it'll be this winter, depending on how the FD build goes and starts and what the plan is for it, date-wise, of getting it accomplished, because I kind of would like to have that car done for the 2025 TougeCon. But what I want to do is I want to rip this car down to the bare studs, interior-wise, and clean up everything. There's some rust up underneath or above the AC unit in this car that needs to be fixed and taken care of, as well as in the trunk. And I want to make sure that this car stays around and lasts, and it's a really solid car and a good driver in any bit of weather that I ever drive it in, because I want this to be basically a dailyable 8.6 that's still a fun cruiser. So we'll see. It's all in time constraints and how life treats me. I'm not super worried about it. Mainly what I'm worried about is just having heat and AC and the car running and driving. Let me shut my light off, because if not, I'll get distracted and forget. Next up update is the back end of the car. So this is all fixing to get started with the body work next week. Daniel's gonna come over and give me some tips and tricks on how to work some of these dents out, get them backfilled and sanded, get the new flares on and ready. But you can see I now have the 7.5 from the Mark I Supra in, AGX adjustable shocks, and all the T3 conversion arms to put the Supra axle in this car. So cut the purchase off the old 8.6 axle that I had that was a spare, welded them up on here so the purchase lined up in the springs, because these are a little bit wider, and the Supra purchase actually sit out further. So got everything measured up, it's good to go and linked in. And then the brand new fuel tank, along with a brand new fuel sending unit and level sensor, is all installed and ready to go. All my fuel lines are plumbed. So this car has got a brand new fuel system, brand new engine, brand new rear end. Got the Weir Performance Max Grip kit for the LSD that I pulled from the Mark II Supra and installed. All that's left, mainly with the rear end, is we've got to finish setting up the lash on the pinion. That's been a little bit troublesome. Olaf and I kind of struggled with it, and we're hoping maybe this Sunday we can get that finished, and then the rear end will be done. Slap the axles back in it, and the car will be rolling again. So basically the idea is this coming Sunday, we're gonna get the lash and everything set on the rear end, and it's done. I can get the car back on the ground again. And then from there, get the measurements, take the old drive shaft down to the drive shaft shop in Little Rock, have them cut it and make a one piece out of it. And while they're doing that, next week is gonna be sanding and prepping the car for paint. Hopefully within a week, week and a half, the guy that's gonna be tuning the car will be back in town. I can get on his schedule, get it tuned, come back, shoot the car with paint, let it bake outside for a couple of days, get the livery on it, and by then we should be ready to leave out for TougeCon. So like everything has to cooperate the next couple of weeks, and it's all on how this thing decides to act. Like, I'm trying my best, but we'll see. So there's the 8.6 update. Guys, thank you so much for following. If you have any questions, hit me up. If you're curious about some of the things that I've used in this setup, feel free to hit me up. I will try my best to get with you. If you don't hear from me, just know that I'm over here dying in this heat and trying my best to get this little car running, driving, and looking good for TougeCon 2024. Oh, and that was the other thing I was gonna tell you guys. So super exciting news. Caleb and Sasha reached out and said, hey, we've talked as a group with all the TougeCon staff, and we'd like to invite you to be the MC this year for TougeCon 2024, which is extremely humbling and extremely exciting. I cannot believe they offered it to me. I really love the event. It's amazing that it's in, our backyard in Northwest Arkansas. It's only a 2.5 hour drive. It's in the prettiest part of the state. It's run by amazing people. And as you can see by all my TougeCon banners and how much I enjoy TougeCon, I am a huge fan of the event and have been for the last several years. So I am really humbled and really excited to be the voice this year of being able to announce things and do all the talking for TougeCon this year. So guys, come on out September 6th and 7th to TougeCon. Hopefully you're gonna see this. If not, I'll be in the S13 as long as it cooperates going back together. and we're going to have a great time in the mountains of Northwest Arkansas. So, guys, I got to get back to suffering.